hoping that anybody who joins in that are of my regular practitioners that might pop in here, that you will recognize that we're only just right at the very beginning, and that you can join in at any time. Please don't feel like you've missed the start. I just want to spend a moment here anyway, just sitting up nice and tall, getting a sense for my sits bones, the weight and the angulation of my pelvis as it's resting on the floor. Try to visualize the pelvic floor being attached at those 4 bony landmarks, the pubic bone, the coccyx, and the 2 sits bones, and trying to get that diamond shape level to the ground. And then just thinking about length in your spine, not strain but length. Taking a deep breath, widening the base of your ribs, and breathing all the air out. Gently pulling in and up from the pelvic floor, breathing all the air out of your body, softening the ribs down. Breathing in, widening those ribs, not rising into the shoulders, and exhaling from the bottom of the pelvic bowl, gently pulling the lower belly in and up and softening those ribs down, and just setting my intention mentally. As I breathe out, I'm going to start to go forward, but I'm going to still breathe out from the lower tummy, scooping in the belly, keeping it away from the thighs as I curl forward. Take a nice deep breath into the back, and roll it back up through the sits bones, just stacking the spine vertebra by vertebra, bringing the head on top of the tail. Did your hip flexors just kick in? Can you stop them? Breathing in. Exhale as we go back, tucking that tail under without clenching the thighs. My intention is to stay toes down, scooping in that lower belly, breathing into the back. And breathe out, tuck those ribs in, squeeze like you need a wee. Let that gently support your spine as you curl forward. Find your sits bones and lift back up nice and tall. That pattern one more time. Exhale, pulling in and up. As you breathe all the air out, finding that C curve forward. Take a deep inhale. And exhale, find the C curve to the back. Without pushing, without shoving, just feeling that lower back opening, scooping in the lower tummy, breathing in. Hand out, sliding those ribs down. Navel to spine, find your sits bones and sitting back up tall. Extending those arms. Exhale, scooping it forward. Blend it together. Inhale, rocking all the way back. Shoulders down. Exhale, slide those ribs down, pull in the lower tummy. Find your C-curve, shoulders over your sits bones, and peel it back up nice and tall. Inhale. Exhale again, scooping in and up as you curve gently forward. Relax the neck and shoulders. Breathe down the back. Concentrate on controlling your movement from your center. Breathe, flowing through the movements, through the joints, with precision as you find your sits bones and build that Lego tower. We're going to inhale, let those arms continue up. Exhale as we bring them back and down. They're sort of moving on my back. And exhale, find that C curve. Going backwards. Inhale. Exhale, curl forward. Find your sits bones. Let the arms push you up. Circle them around the outside, just feeling them moving on your back. And then exhale from the lower belly, scoop. Relax the neck and shoulders. Exhaling, going forward again, flattening that lower tummy, trying not to overwork and find that sweet spot to move from. Last time, opening it out, letting it move on your back. Exhale, finding that C curve, holding it. Belly in, pressing that lower back into the floor, right arm lifting up. Exhale, bring that right arm down, sliding those ribs down, left arm lifting up. Squeeze those inseams together. Try not to overload the hip flexion. Squeeze like you need a wee. Breathe out, squeezing those ribs down a little more. Lower tummy. Remember we spoke about that on Saturday, that feeling of going in and up, and we're going to roll ourselves up off the floor. You can use your hands on those legs and then peel it back up, arms lifting the chest, and then bring those arms around to behind you. We're going to just plant the hands on the floor, walk the feet wider than the pelvis, and we're going to do a little breath in, lifting the chest up, keeping those arms nice and straight, and exhale, drop those ribs down. Find your little C curve, pulling in that tummy, and inhale, rocking it up, and exhale, rocking it back. One more time. I'm doing this more for my chest and my shoulders, to just explore that range and to wake up my upper back a little bit. And then coming back into the center. We're going to drop the knees over. I'm going to the camera, so I'm going to the left, and then come back on the bum and to the right, and come back on the bum and to the left. And I am absolutely making sure I walk my butt back a little bit, because otherwise I'll walk right down the garden. Side and back, and side and back, and hold it here. So I'm going to just do a little inward rotation on this leg. I'm going to just breathe out and see if I can lift the knee up and bring it back down. Now this one, see if you can lift this knee up and lower it back down. That one. Exhale, inward rotation. And that one, exhale, outward rotation, trying to keep the body nice and still. Last time. My hip replacement ladies will find this is very small, and that's absolutely fine. Maybe it's just an intention. And then the other side, imagine yourself doing it. That was a great comment from Miss Allison. And lowering that knee back down. We're going to let this hand drift out a little further and just reach that arm up so that you make a long lever, and coming back down. Going again, lifting up. Lengthen the spine. It's very different to a side bend, right? We practice the difference between those two. That side long support, and then coming back down. Shall we just visit the others too? Let's go side long support, side bend, shift the ribs up. Let's thread the needle, reaching through underneath that arm, opening the back of the shoulder, back into your side bend, side support or side plank, and then coming back down. This time I'm going to bring the hand back, and I'm going to rock forward onto my shins. I know a couple of you said that was a no-go last time, but I'm just going to do it. If you remember, you can push with a hand if you need to, and coming back down. One more time. Coming up and coming back down. Love it. Going to swap over to the other side, or I'm going to just cheat because I want to face the camera. So I'm back in my little mermaid this side, and I'm going to go for inward knee rotate, hip rotation with that thigh bone lifting up and lowering down. And now this one is going to turn out, and it is so threatening to cramp. And lowering that knee down. And lifting this one was what was setting off this one into cramp, so now it feels a lot better. And now external this side, external rotation, and coming back down. And internal with this one. Try not to let anything get given away here. And that one. And coming back down. Hands a little further away, and we're reaching that arm up. Find that nice long line. No. Yes. And bringing it back down. Watch the ribs. I just felt my ribs coming in, so I knew they were out. Inhale. And exhale. I'm going to go one more time, and this time I'm going to visit all those spots. So I'm going to hold. I'm going to go into the side bend, pushing the ribs up. Push that shoulder away. Thread the needle, tucking those front ribs in, breathing all the air out of your body. Back into the side bend, ribs up. Don't be too monkey with your arms, and then come back to side bend, and then coming back up. Ready to go into the shin, coming up, and sitting back down. And coming up onto the shin, even if it's just an intention, and coming back down. And again, one more time, lifting it up, hold it. If you got up there, swing the legs around, swapping them, sit back down. Come back up. We're going to swing those lower legs around, swapping them, and sit back down. Just once is enough, right? We're going to bring those legs around just as a little, see how you get on with that, let me know kind of story. Right, so I'm coming back to my back this time. Sit closer to your bottom, to your heels to your bottom. Feet sit at bone distance apart, hands spread out, shoulders up and back spread out. I'm in neutral because I've lifted and lowered a few times. I can feel that. See up, there's a little space under my back, pubic bone, hip bone on one plane. Take a big breath in, widening the base of those ribs. Breathe back into your mat. And breathe out, rolling it up from the pelvic bowl, squeezing the air out, tracking the knees over the second and third toes, peeling all the way up to just feel those hips opening. Inhale and exhale as we soften the throat, the breastbone, the rib rings as we peel it back down. You absolutely know that's one of my favorite things. Release it to neutral. And again. And exhale, rolling it up. Standing into those feet, knees reaching forward, back of those upper arms gently pressing into the mat, getting that lovely stretch in the front, and as you breathe out, curling, control, concentrate from your center, from that center of gravity, precision, flow, and breath. One more time. Exhale as you roll it up, standing into those feet, press. Lifting those hips, press those upper arms back, breathing in and breathing out as you roll it back down to the ground. Pouring yourself back into the floor. Okay, I'm going to go put my hands in front of my shoulders and I'm going to do a push-up. I'm just going to breathe out and press up with those arms and then bend the elbows all the way back down, all the way into the flexion. And then all the way into the extension and all the way into the flexion. So I'm using full range, right? Because when I normally do push-ups, it's the easiest thing to kind of measure. I am so much stronger in my mid-range than I am in either end. And like I said to my group this morning, where do most of our injuries occur? Closer to the joint, right? So it's at the part of the muscle that has not got the tenacity as the mid-range, because the mid-range is in and out all the time. These top ends just don't get it. So we're going to do the same with our legs. I want you to just bring that right leg in, let the back drop onto the floor, and hold it with the back of those the hands with the back of the thigh. I really have to turn the other way because I am squinting myself to death. I'm going to have wrinkles on wrinkles. And from here, I just want you to extend that leg up. Don't hold the muscle too tight with your hands. You're just guiding your leg and then bend it back down. Your focus is on reaching end range. So as you're going up, let the sit bone kind of stay down and then think of really kind of pushing outward and then folding it back in. I'm going to do it one more time. Doesn't matter how low or high your leg is. It doesn't even matter if you don't get to full extension. The thing is, we've got to remind our brains that we can. Those joints can go full extension. And then bring it back down. And put that foot back on the floor. Left leg's going to fold in. I might use the hands to guide. Back went back onto the ground. And as I extend, I want to notice. Absolutely. It feels much more rigid in the back of my knee. Just like I know it feels much more rigid and far less elastic in my ankle at the Achilles tendon, but I know that I can improve that. I know that what I'm thinking about really matters, and just trying to give way a little bit, get out of your own way, and just kind of let that muscle lengthen. Give it permission, and then bring it back down onto the ground. Pelvis back into neutral. We're going to fold both legs in, and we're going to let that back drop into the floor. And we're going to stretch both legs up as best as you can, but push the bum down at the same time. And then bend. And again, and extend. And I'm pressing the back of my upper arms to open my chest. And then, so that my upper back and my chest are both active. And pressing it up. Flex both feet. Point both feet. Flex both feet, and I'm stabilizing my trunk with my abdominal and my back muscles all through here, even into my pelvis, my pelvic floor, helping me stay stable on the ground. And then the hip flexors are just in hip flexion. Brilliant. And heel to point, holding those legs up. Obviously, if the legs are there, it's a lot harder because look at the angle. Gravity is like sucking you down all the time. And point. Now I want to go into a circle. Pointed toes, circle those legs around towards you, separate them, making spectacles, bring them together, and back up. I always used to say these are John Lennon or Elton John sunglasses. And you're circling around, up their nose, over the eyebrows, out to the temples, around the bridge, and back up. Again, circling it around. Those legs are as extended as you can make them. I actually lost track of that for a moment. I was thinking more about my circles, and I forgot about that lovely extension, and immediately my knees went, oh, okay, I'll just soften. Let's go around the other way. Circling them down. Keep those ribs down, back on the floor. Keep reaching out and up, and bringing them up towards you, bum on the ground, circling it down. Out, around the little cheekbones, up the temples, over the eyebrows, down the nose, and down, out, around, and again, one more time, down, out, and around. Love it. By now, your legs are quite happy in the air, so we're going to bend them. Bring your hands behind your head. Just take a breath. Scooping up into that chest lift, the elbows are just about an inch off the floor, and then find that hammock that slides the ribcage down, supporting the upper back. And we're going to extend, we're going to extend those legs back up into the air. Right leg lowering down. Exhale, lifting it back up. Other side, inhale, lowering down. I'm just thinking of my hip flexor folks, and again. So remember that lower down nice and slow, that's my stretch on the hip flexor. And when I slowly bring it back up, that's my strength part of the exercise for the hip flexor. And the other side. And if you're keeping that tushy on the ground, oops, stretch my leg. As you're bringing it up, feel that heavy bum on the ground so that you don't then start to try and tuck to help with the lower back muscles. Last time, lowering down. There I can feel my butt's on the floor. And when I lift it back up, just trying to keep that sense of the bum being in the floor. I'm stretching those legs like I mean it. And bringing it back up. And lowering the head down to the ground. Bend those knees. I am going to have my back in my imprint position and go into toe tap. So from tabletop, the right leg is going to float down. If your back arches or lift off the ground, that's you've gone too far. You can only go as far as that back stays on the floor, and then bring that leg back up again. So my ribs want to be able to stay down, whether I'm inhaling or exhaling, and I'm breathing into the back of my ribs. Breathe back. And the other side. I'm attesting the fact that I can actually get my toe to the floor today to the fact that grass is a little lumpy to my advantage, and that my back is staying on the lumpy grass. And coming back up, and one more time, keeping those ribs down and together. Inhale. Exhale into your chest lift, sliding those ribs down, elbows nice and wide, lowering both legs. We breathe in, back stays on the floor, and we breathe out, bringing them back up with control. Lower the head back down to the floor. Again, exhale, slide those ribs down, squeeze like you need a wee if you didn't do that before. That's really going to help. So you're really feeling that support from under the body and keeping the back into the ground, and lower the head onto the floor. One more time. Exhale, scooping it up. Inhale, lower. Ribs down. Exhale, bringing it back up. And lower the chest down to the floor. I'm going to go into crisscross from here. So as you breathe out, I'm crossing over my right shoulder and then coming back. And then I'll be crossing over the left. Actually, I don't even want to say the word shoulder. I shouldn't say the word shoulder. I'm twisting at the rib cage. Think about coming up and rotating those ribs over and come back. I like the idea of thinking oblique, because you have your internal and your external oblique. And together they make this X factor. So if I think of my right lower rib going across to my left hip and pulling in the paunchy bit in the middle and then coming back, forgot about him, and then the left lower rib comes across the right hip bone and I'm pulling in the paunchy bit in the middle and lowering that down. Two more, exhale, pull in the stomach and come back down. And the other side, and coming back down. Open those arms out to the side. By now, your legs are so tired. Well, my legs are so tired from being in the air. My hip flexors are so tired. I'm going to go into a spinal twist. I'm going to go both knees together over to the right side. So roll the hips to the side. Keep that left shoulder on the ground. And exhale. Find the center of gravity to pull into. Those obliques to roll back. Inhale as you go over to the left, keeping the right shoulder on the ground. And exhale, squeeze like you need a wee. Find the center of gravity, let it bring you back. Over to the other side. So like I said Thursday, but Thursday might be the challenge class. It might be the one that pushes you a little bit in some ways. But the Tuesday class is the one where you separate the men from the boys, really. Where you figure the stuff out. Last time each way. Inhale, knees over, shoulders are wide and still. And exhale, rolling back. And I'm going to then put that to the test. And we are going to be on the very, very, very last one. We are going to have our arms just off the ground. So we're going to float those arms just off the floor. Going into that tick-tock. Are you able to still control it? Whoop, and come back. Finding your center. Other side. Inhale over. And exhale, coming back. Scoop into that chest lift. Reach those arms nice and long. Fold the knees in. Stretch the legs all the way out. And bring them all the way back in. Yeah, you know, mid-range. Mid-range would be this. Yeah? That's where we've just been working, mid-range. Now go end range. Extend all the way out. Make the longest lever possible. Reach it out and come in. And inhale. Big snow angel scooping in that tummy, pulling it in. Inhale, reach. And exhale, curl last time. Inhale, reach. As I curl in, I'm going to roll up. And sit. So feet back onto the floor. I'm just going to go into another C curl, because you know what I spoke about on Saturday, that pulling in and up as the ribs come down and not having that little poofy bit out at the bottom, even though these might be working. Sometimes it is a simple matter of finding the trigger for that specific muscle. So I'm going to have you guys bend your legs in quite a bit so that we can roll back quite a bit. I'm going to take my arm away so that you can actually see what my stomach is doing. And I just take a deep breath in for me. As you breathe out, squeeze like you need a wee. Pull the lower belly in and up. Soften those ribs. Feel like those tummy muscles are deepening the curve of your back, almost pushing you into the floor, like I was standing on your gut. And now hold it there. And we're going to breathe out 8 times, sucking that bad boy in. I'll even show you my rolls. Ready? Here we go. Okay, gonna do it again. And I'm going to support myself and roll it back up again. And then I'm going to go ahead and do it with a little C curve. Stop midway. No arms if you can. Breathe in. Breathe out as you scoop it down. Find your sweet spot. Oh, I'm working so hard here. I might tuck my roll in. And when you are ready, and roll back up. Right, I'm going to do that again. So my propulsive exhale, anything that's expulsive, coughing, laughing, sneezing, throwing up, going to the toilet, any of those actions is the transverse muscle, because it's the deepest one that holds those organs, and it squeezes, 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 right? So if you felt that right into your back, that's why, because your transverse wraps all the way around, and it literally is a human, like your real personal corset, weight belt. Right, shall we do it again? I might stretch my legs this time because I want my hip flexors to get a little bit less engaged. So breathe in, breathe out, tuck that pelvis under, find your sweet spot where you want to work. I'm just past my sits bones on my sacrum, and I feel fairly balanced. And when you breathe, and roll back up. Okay, excellent. Let's go into your all fours. So, working the push-up, guys. Working the push-up with the same plan. End range, not as easy. Okay, so if for most of us, when we do our push-ups, we like to do them here. I have folks who literally can't straighten their elbows anymore, and that's just simply because if you don't use it, you lose it. So spread those fingers out, press out with those hands, press. So I've got a little arch under my palm, I've got all 5 fingers gripping the floor, and then from the heel of the hand, just feel yourself connect to the earth and gently press away and outward, of course, for the lats. So when I bend in my Pilates push-up, I'm a grasshopper. Those elbows go back next to my ribs, and then I press back up from there. I want the tricep. It's a tricep push-up. Again, bring them right back, point them to your ribs, and press up. Now, if your push-up is here, I'd rather you be working this top range than the mid range. And if you can get down to the bottom range, excellent, and use it all. So let's have another 2 of those. I'd like you guys to do another 2 of those, just in and out. And just feel how it feels to really use your hands to push. And then come down onto your tummy. So this is a toughie, yes, but it's well worth working for. Hands underneath your shoulders. My elbows are pointed up to the ceiling, because if they were pointed out to the side, they're going to go outwards. I want them to be tricepy, so elbows pull towards each other. Now I've tucked under my toes, and the first thing I'm going to do is press the pubic bone and the 2 hip bones into the ground, slide the ribs in, and pull up my tummy. I don't know how much of that you can see in the camera, but I'm making a little hollow under the belly, and then release. I didn't do it just by clenching my bum though. As you breathe out, in fact, I'm trying not to use my bum at all. I'm trying to find the pelvic floor, these deep transverse muscles, her ribs are coming down. There's my internal corset. And of course, what activates that transverse? The blowout, the expulsion. Yeah? Now I'm not super clenching my bum, but I need to be able to hold that. The next step I'm going to do is try and get my chest off too. So as you breathe out, find it, and then keep your head on the ground, but try to lift the chest off the floor. and then release. Breathing in. Pubic bone to hip bones, scoop ribs together and chest. And back down. Can you feel those deep range muscles? Yeah? Again, exhale, pelvic floor, scoop up the tummy, ribs together, chest off the floor. So pushing into those hands. I haven't actually lifted anything yet other than my rib cage. Oh, and my arms can certainly feel that. Last time. Exhale. I want to be strong there, guys. I want to be able to push from there. And I want to be able to lower all the way back down. When I lower down, I aim chest first because it's just so tempting from here to do that. Don't do it. Go chest first and then, so you return in reverse. I've got my up, and then I'm coming down and gently lowering into the pelvis, and the stomach goes flat. And again, press all the way out, right? Straight arms. And bend the elbows back all the way down. I'm going to swear at myself tomorrow for this one more time. Press. Good. Holding it there for me. Take the right foot and just press that heel back. Stretch into the full range on that leg and lower it back down. Other side. Stretching into the full range of the other leg. And bring it back down. We're going to stretch into both. Now hold onto that lower tummy. Ease the knees off the ground. Lengthen that back. Press outward with the hands. And now glide. Pushing with those toes. Forward and backward. Nice strong straight arms. Absolutely. Oh, I'm going over the front of my fingers. And in fact, that's something I'm busy working on in my own strength. So I'm happy to shuffle myself a little bit further forward and test that range out a little bit more. One more time. And then lower those knees down and push back to pose of a child. We haven't done a huge amount of curling, well, other than abdominal work, but patterning. So I'm going to do some cat curls, taking a deep breath in. Breathe out, lift the head, gently pressing down onto the hands. Find your happy cat. Press outward with the hands to widen the upper back. Against those shins, I'm going to press nice straight arms coming forward. Exhale, tuck the tail under, rolling up into angry cat, and rock back to those heels. I'm going to lift my chest. Notice how that gently takes my back into the arch. Press against those shins. Let it bring you forward. Tuck that tail under, scoop it up around, and rocking back. Last time, head is going to lift forward and up, opening that chest, pushing against the shins, and angry cat curl, scooping it all the way up. We'll bring the right knee into the chest, blow the air out, and bring it back. So isn't that my deep range here? Isn't this kind of, yeah? Again, when I really have to work on bringing that knee up, I'm definitely going places I don't usually go. And again, on the other side, pulling it up, and bring it back down. Let it release. All right, we're going to tuck those toes under. We're going to go into up stretch, pushing the hips up into the air, nipples to knees. Bend those knees, let the buttocks widen. Going to panther forward, so I am just going to thrust forward, hold onto that lower tummy. Again, maybe I overshoot with my wrists, but that's what I'm practicing doing. So if this is not good, like you're not liking this, just take the hands forward so they're under your shoulders. And then up stretch, pressing up, butt up in the sky. Bend those knees, let the butt widen, chest to thighs, and slide forward. Hold onto that lower tummy and pressing back into up stretch. Last time, bending those knees, gliding forward. Head in line with the tail, don't drop your head, hold onto that lower belly. Fold the knees down. I'm going to bring my left hand underneath my breastbone, and I am going to swing the lower left leg to the side, to the back, and open up to the side. Here comes my side bend into, my side support, side bend. Reaching up, ribs up to the ceiling, thread the needle. I'm not moving the pelvis because where I'm at. Rolling through and coming back up, stepping out with that underneath leg into your side support, holding it there for me. Now we're ready for we're ready for the whole kahuni. Arm lifting up into the side bend, twist to go through into that lovely threading of the needle. Come back, side bend, back into side support, and then squat down towards those heels, thrust back out, arm reaching over, and then find that front support, twisting. There was a whole lot of non-verbalizing there, thinking and not talking. Press outward with those hands. I'm sorry, I'm going to have my back towards you. I'm going to be putting my right knee down, right hand underneath my chest, under my breastbone. Pivot the right foot around, pelvis into neutral as you find your side support. Reach that arm overhead, side bend, thread the needle, try and keep the pelvis still, just getting an amazing stretch down the lat on that left side. Circle back to side bend, back to side support, and then lifting that arm up, shoulders nice and relaxed. We're going to step out onto the right leg, stepping back behind the left one. Full kahuni. Arm next to your ear, side bend, into the threading of the needle, bum to the sky. Reverse it into your side bend, into your side support. Squat your tushy back down to your heels, thrust back out, and then bring the hand to the floor, underneath the shoulders. Bend those knees. That maybe belonged on Thursday, not today, huh? And stretching back. Well, I don't know. Taking a deep breath in and breathe out as you roll it back up. And I'm pretty sure you ladies would have modified, but I also get the sense that you girls on this Facebook, the Future Bodies in a Circle, are up for a challenge. Just listen to your body, don't overshoot that you take yourself into an injury, and talk to me anytime. I'm here to be spoken to. So can I now go into a 3-point plank? I am going to widen my feet. So I'm going to just step to a nice little straddle. They're a little wider than my mat. And firstly, I'm just going to bring the hand off the ground. That's going to be enough to just sense if I can manage that. Yeah. If you need to put the knees on the floor, then that's where you're at. Yes. Okay, so listening to your body, no twisting. Now let's take that right arm up. Let's stretch it forward. Let's pull it back and put it back on the floor. Other hand, pull it up, stretch it forward, no twisting, the hips aren't moving. Bring it back and put the hand on the floor. Other one, bend and a stretch, and then put it down. If I can sing while I'm working out, then I know I'm still a-okay. And then bum to the sky. Bend both knees just a little bit. And we're going to do a little crawling forward. So I'm going to go right hand, left leg, left hand, right leg, right hand, left leg, left hand, right leg. And I'm kind of pushing myself forward with a foot. And then let's go back. And now I'm pushing with a hand. And I'm trying to move synchronized. Hand and foot landing at the same time, nice and softly. Oh, I lost my V shape. Going again, forward. Chest to thighs. And a 3. And a 2. And a 1. And going back. 4. And a 3. And a 2. And a 1. Lower those knees down onto the ground. Thread the needle. And up. Other side. And up. Again. last time. Just sitting back into those feet. Take a deep breath. And breathe out, dragging those hands back. Peeling yourself back up into a kneeling position. Or if you feel like it, tuck those toes under, stretch your legs, and roll it up into a standing position as it feels good to you. So, thank you very much, guys, and I hope you have a lovely afternoon whenever you end up doing this workout. And I shall see you on Thursday.